irrelevant whether we are the least paid or most highly paid. It's not relevant anymore. What are salaries meant for? If they are hygiene factors, they are meant to look after our survival so that we can go to work and look after ourselves and survive for a long time. What is important is today, teachers in the Gambia have a place to lean on. We are not claiming that the credit union has reached a level where we can solve all problems. We have never claimed that. But you have an institution you can lean on and get a lot of your problems solved. It is a day when we need to reflect on great people we work with. What I'm saying is not in. I know our very first board meeting, Mrs. Sona Williams is here, Mr. Idrissa Bojang is here. The very first board meeting we organized started at 9 in the morning. The meeting ended at 9 in the evening. Not because we were fighting. We were determined to succeed where we had no idea where we were going. So we were learning how to run a credit union whilst the credit union was growing, not waiting for us. At the same time, our members were impatient. They wanted the services to be delivered. So caught within this triangle of, we had to work extra time. And extra time we did work, and we delivered. I thank you guys, I thank you. I know we went through hell to reach here today. But that is now history. Today, Gambia Teachers Union Cooperative Credit Union is a global brand. Not because we are the richest credit union, not because we are the most organized, not because we are the most serious, but because of our resilience and our determination to impact the lives of our members. And that we do with sincerity, we do with honesty, and that's why again today it's important that we look back and give thanks to the Creator, but we also look inside, we look inwardly and thank those who are responsible, those through whom the Almighty worked to make sure that today, when a teacher leaves the college, the following week, the teacher can walk into an office in 8 different locations in the country, ask for a service, buy a bed and other things that they need, go to a school, comfortable and able to teach the children the following day. That was our dream. We dreamt a lot. I remember the first AGM. A teacher stood up at Gambia College, that was in 1999, and asked if we are going to transform into a bank one day. I remember my answer. I said, I don't think we need to. There is no need for any transformation. What I think is necessary, and I was saying this at the time, I did not have a qualification in management. I did not have a qualification in economics. I did not even read them. I had my primary teacher's certificate. But remember, at college, we were taught to improvise. We were taught our psychology and sociology. And honesty is not taught. That was a God-given one. I said to the guy, no, we don't need to. Let us set up a credit union, I said. Those who were there can remember. That will provide everything that banks provide you. In the name of a credit union, we don't have to change our name. And no matter what, under my watch and my guidance, there is no need to be called something else. Through the credit union philosophy and operating principles, we can do even more than the banks are doing and other financial institutions. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if there is a need for me to read the statement. But the statement contains some information I want to paraphrase. And I will urge maybe the journalists amongst us to get into that statement and dissect it. It's important to highlight that Mr. Amadou Kambi was the first chairman. Before his term ended, he traveled out of this country. And Mr. Numo TF Sedikan completed that term. Mr. Idrissa Bojang came, did his term and terms before we now have Mr. Abdul Karim C. In my office, and this is important, after the second year, I don't know from where this idea came, but my board informed me there was need for me to get educated. In my life, I never had a passport before I was asked to go for studies. I never applied for a visa in my life. I never thought in my life I was going to stay elsewhere, out of the Gambia, or even travel. It had never been part of my plans. One day I was asked to look for a school and go out and study, because the logic was, this institute, this to show you that the leadership from that point were visionary. They realized that the institution was a viable one. It was growing rapidly, and very soon, the requirements of running the office would outpace the knowledge of the manager. They insisted that you must go and learn so that you come back and run the institution. We can find graduates outside, they told me, but graduates with your attitude and your demeanor and your, candor and all this, we might not find. As a result, we want to train you so that you stay with your whatever. We will be more comfortable with that kind of situation. I went out. I remember even those who were advising the board, our friends abroad, said, no, you don't have money to sponsor somebody at this point. But they never relented. I went to England, I studied day and night, I studied in the river, I studied at work, I studied in my bedroom. In 2 years, I graduated with magna cum laude and I came home. I owed it to them to prove them right, to show that this was not a tourist venture. It was an investment in the future of the organization. That hard work paid later when the Commonwealth gave me a scholarship to go and do another degree in New Zealand. But that's because of the performance that was sponsored by the credit union. And that's why when people ask today how did it happen, I don't know. But those who led it from day one had a vision, and that's where we are heading. I was merely a catalyst. I was a disruptor in the process to ensure that I helped them to do the strategic thinking, but they had the direction. I have said so many things. This is supposed to give you a brief, supposed to share with the country. But I want to end with probably some statistics. In the statement I have shared, I have mentioned so many people. We would not have been here today if Margaret Keter, who was the accountant general at the time, had said, no, you are not going to have a checkoff. You cannot have your members deducted from source. She obliged. Immediately during the first meeting, Tamsir Jallo and myself met her. Immediately she agreed. Immediately she gave instructions to the Treasury unit. We thank her. I hope this message reaches you. We had a Babukar Sise, who is still our friend. He is the buzzer at Charles Jau Academy. I'm not sure if that's the real name.
Memorial Academy. Memorial Academy.
Memorial, Charles Jau Memorial Academy. Babukar Sise worked day and night. Babukar Sise worked with me on Sundays after his normal shifts to ensure we learned how to do the inputting of data for deductions to be conducted. But that was not going to be helpful if we did not have a one Hassan Jeng at the computer unit. At the time, the government's payroll was centralized in one room. Mr. Hassan Jeng was the head of that unit. Fortunately, we had Pa Ibrahim Afal as president. His wife was Mr. Jeng's assistant, and we got to Mr. Jeng very easily. That is how it started. Making mistakes, trial and error, learning at the same time. But the most important, and I said it in the statement towards the end, members who agreed, who trusted us, who looked at us in the eyes and said, yes, you are young, but I trust that you will be genuine people. You can have my money. And entrusted their meager sums to us are the very reason we are here today. If we did not have members, we will not be talking about celebrating GTU CCU at 25. Teachers embraced the concept. We had skeptics, but that's normal. That's natural. That didn't change anything. The resilience and the commitment and the dedication and the perseverance of the board was complemented by trust from the members. And that is why we started and we never stopped. I know we took a lot of risk. That risk has paid today. Today, in 8 locations in the country, education sector workers and our members beyond the former common bond. Because we opened our common bond, when we finished recruiting everybody in the education sector, we went outside. Those who are members of the credit union can go to 8 locations today and get served. But that's not where we want to stop with you. The world is moving digital. The world is moving digital, meaning our transactions need to be digitalized. We are leaving no stone unturned. And I'm confident over the next couple of years, I may not be the general manager after a couple of years, because I am approaching the end of my tenure with this institution, and I keep saying it, lu nekk dafa am limit. That I'm celebrating 25 years is an achievement. I expect and I pray that God leaves all of us here to witness the 50th birthday. But I know when that happens, some of us will be coming here with crutches, others will be on wheelchairs. Because we would be too old to run the institution, so others must take over. And those who should take over, I am saying this, I know this is probably not going to even come on the media reports, but they are here. Some of them are here. What took 25 years to build can disappear in one day if we are closing our eyes to the realities around us. We need to be awake and alert. There were days when I was the messenger. I'll go to Banjul myself, to the offices. I was the accountant. I was the marketing officer. I was the general manager. I was the cleaner. I was the driver of the only car we had. I was the secretary when Fana was not available. I did everything. It's not possible anymore. Today we are 125 people, 124 behind me. 25 years ago, this day, there was nobody. March 1997, I was the manager. Fana was my secretary. Today, Fana has grown to being the manager of the ICT department of this credit union. She is not only the longest serving worker, Fana is one of the most dedicated, the most committed, the most sincere, the most honest workers I have ever experienced. One of the most honest, the most sincere, the most dedicated people I have ever seen. She could have had a job. Fana is an accountant. She did AAT up to finals. She's done a secretarial diploma. She could have gone elsewhere, but she's committed her life to this institution. So those of you coming, the young ones, emulate Fana. Emulate Fana. If we have people emulating Fana, this organization's future is safe. And I see a lot of young people coming, a lot of enthusiasm. I call on you all to emulate Fana by its honesty, sincerity, dedication, commitment, loyalty. Finally, I'm saying this, and I'll be held to a corner if I do not talk about my family and the families of those who were with me 25 years ago. If our meetings could last 12 hours, our strategic development meetings lasted weeks because we did not know how to do it in the beginning. We were learning. Our families, our spouses, our children suffered. Those children today are procreating. They are having children. But those were toddlers and young children who were left at home the whole day because their parents were laying a foundation for what we have today, what we enjoy today. We thank you all, our wives, our husbands, our children. We thank our partners. This was not going to be possible. I talked about Margaret Keita. It was the same at the Ministry of Education. No reluctance whatsoever. The ministers and permanent secretaries, all of them supported, from Badara Ju to Babukar Boy, Mohamed Jallo, Sisao, and now Louis Moses Mendy. And Mr. Ba, we want to extend through you our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to the leadership of MOPSI, because this trend started from Madam Satang Jau to date. We have always had the support. Now, the Registrar of Cooperatives and NACUC have always been by our sides from the last 25 years. Today, I recall our first training program on credit unions. Mr. Idi Bojang would remember he was at that program at Girls Guide. We were with Mr. Keba Sala. He came here this morning, and we were able to reflect on that. We were being told how credit unions run. So we appreciate the support from our APEX, our Cooperative Registrar's Office, our friends in Ireland, the Gambia Teachers Union leadership successively. Martin Gomez was introduced before him. When we were starting, Pa Ibrahim Fall was a signatory to our accounts. Omar Ndur took over from him. Lamin Marong took over from Omar Ndur. Martin Gomez took over from Lamin K. Marong. Martin is one president, one former president. For me, is a president forever. Martin is one who will walk into my office even today and sit down and say, Babukar, how about this? What is this? What is that? Ask some questions, demand answers, and go away with information. So that shows you. And when the credit union was starting, he was a member of the National Executive. That shows you to date. Today he is having an engagement. He's going away in the evening. Boy, he told me, Sumaraka, you know him, he calls everybody Sumaraka. And he told me Sumaraka Nanyo, and he's here. So we appreciate this. Thank you all very much. I can go on. I can go on for another 25 hours. Because 25 years, you see, the joy of being part of it is on one side. But I reflect and I look at what our circumstances were when we started compared to what we have today. I think we all have to give thanks. We all have to give thanks to the Creator. We have to praise the efforts of those who are working here, those who have worked here, and those who will work here eventually must be made to understand that we invested our lives in this and we want to see it grow and grow. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Moderator, I will stop here. Maybe there'll be no questions. I hope there are no questions, but honestly speaking, it's a day that we are very, very happy to be part of, and I can go on forever. Thank you very much for listening to me. I still encourage you to read my statement. What I said is not in the statement. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Patrick Mendy. Patrick is deputizing the general manager of NACO, who is unavoidably absent. Mr. Patrick, you are welcome. May I invite Mr. Ezra Shaw to deliver a statement, a solidarity message to the public. Mr. Shaw, you are welcome.
Call is bereaved a couple of weeks ago. She lost her husband and out of office. And in that regard, I am here to represent her. Mr. Moderator, please allow me to stand on all protocols for the sake of time, for the fact that we are not in a moment of rejoicing and not or neither in the mood of delivering long speeches. Today is the 25th anniversary of the birth of GTU-CCU. We are gathered here not only to reflect on our renewed commitment and resolve to the ideals and guiding principles, but also to assert our firm stance for respecting those commitments in our bid to improving the socio-economic well-being of the membership. This occasion shows precedents of hard work. It shows precedents of dedication to duty and above all good governance and leadership by both management and staff of the G2CCU respectively, who have over the years continued to present favorable opportunities for the general well-being of our members and teachers in particular. Mr. Moderator, the National Executive Committee of the Gambia Teachers Union, and by extension, the Women's Executive Committee of the GTU Ladies Society, the Youth Executive Committee of the GTU Young Teachers Platform, and staff of the Secretariat join you in celebrating an important milestone. Recognizing our achievement is quite encouraging and thought-provoking. Therefore, it is imperative to know that our collective achievement as cooperators has proven our high value, not only in the Gambia, but the sub-region in general, both in terms of economic growth and the improvement of the lives and livelihoods of our esteemed members. Our resilience in upholding the credit union philosophy of people helping people is fundamental in ensuring that the general welfare of teachers and educational sector personnel and staff are sustained, which we all strive for. To conclude, Mr. Moderator, I would like to pay homage to our gallant and visionary leaders, but more so, delegates to the 1992 National Congress of the Gambia Teachers Union held at Gambia High School then, and particularly the 9th Executive Committee of the GTU under the leadership of the late Alhaji Usman Dao, ex-president, for sponsoring a resolution for the formation of the GTU-CCU. I am proud of the privilege accorded me for being simply counted as one of those young teachers who came together, and if I may borrow the words of the general manager, on that characteristically rainy August day, as indicated in his statement. By then, I was just 27 years old, and just beginning my 5th academic year as a practicing teacher. To the general membership, I urge all of us to increase our sense of belonging and ownership by exercising patience and save more, as this is the surest way to economic empowerment and self-development. Finally, and I emphasize, I would like to congratulate Mr. Babukar Ismaila Diouf for his visionary leadership. Mr. Diouf is undoubtedly the architect of our success. There is no fear of contradiction on that statement. And I hope Mr. Chairman of Board of Directors and staff, I hope the board will seize this opportunity to reward him appropriately. Naming the SAU regional office after him, for instance, will do a good job. Will do us good rather. We need to celebrate people when they are alive. And I count on the board of directors of the GTU-CCU to consider renaming all our regional outlets in recognition of some prominent figures in whose wisdom and glory we are all basking in today. Finally, the general manager mentioned Fana. I saw Fana in that small corner when we used to have typewriters. I could remember on several occasions squatting around by her side when she helped to type the manuscript of my first objective textbook I wrote sometime in 1997. And I know and I can confirm what the general manager said about her dedication to duty. To the late and former General Secretary of the Gambia Teachers Union, Alhaji MD Tamsir Jallo, who was the CEO then and helped to provide the technical guidance, we pay our homage to him as well. On this note, Mr. Moderator, I wish us all a joyous occasion, and may Allah bless us all. Solidarity forever. Thank you.
We have three personalities in our midst. They represent 3 different cadres in our fraternity. May I ask Mr. Lamin Sanyam, President of Conference, representing Senior Secondary School. May I also call on Mr. Jabi, who is also heading the Secondary School Teachers Conference. Mr. Jabi, please prize invitation. In our midst, we have Saja, who is the chairperson of ANGO. In our midst, you have other invited guests from the Immigration Department and other departments around who are invited who honor our invitation. We recognize your presence and we appreciate it. The media, I deliberately joined because
for the General Secretary of GTU, Abdul Karim, the product chair, my own brother and my boss. I always call him my boss, Mr. Diouf, Mr. Usman Ba, the Regional Education Director, Region 1, and Mr. Patrick Mendy, who is deputizing for the General Manager, Naku. I think a lot has been said by previous speakers. The only thing I want to add on to what previous speaker have said is I think Mr. Diouf have dwelled on that. That is sustainability, how we can sustain this successful cooperative credit union for the next 25 years. I think this is very, very paramount. They did their part, as he made mention, 25 years ago, in 1997. So I think it will be an onus on us, especially as he made mention, the young ones amongst us here, to see to it that the credit union will be at even a more higher height than where it is at this point in time. So I think those young teachers, management of the credit union, I think you will be ready to take up this challenge, because we don't want in the next 5-10 years for people to start hearing that GTU, CCU are having problems. As far as I'm concerned, as the registrar, wherever I go, be it within the Gambia or outside the Gambia, I always talk of GTU, CCU as the most successful cooperative in this country. So I hope we'll maintain that. Mr. Juve and others, Mr. Kambi and others, some of the pioneers are late. They did their part. So let us see to it that wherever they are, they will be happy with what is happening with the cooperative credit union. So as he made mention, my office is always there as far as the development of cooperative credit unions are concerned in this country. We have just come up with a cooperative policy for the Gambia. During the preparation or the development of that, policy, GTU, CCU, we are in the limelight. We did that deliberately for the success that has been registered within the cooperative credit union. So I think Mr. Juve is here, he can bear me witness. Very soon, that policy will be launched at the level of cabinet, and then we'll start to implement some of the activities of the cooperative policy for the first time for the Gambia. So on that note, I thank everyone, especially the management of the GTU, CCU, for inviting me to come and grace this important occasion. On that note, I thank you all for your kind attention.
You are welcome. May I also invite the President of TS, Mr.
Who should have been here, but he's engaged at the moment. He could not be here. He asked me to represent him. This is a joyous moment for all of us. I'm sure all of us know the history of GTU, CCU, and the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. The relationship has been very fruitful over the years. It's not a relationship between a union and a ministry, or a government. It's a relationship that is fostered in family ties, or as family ties. We work together, we support each other along the way. And that has been going on over the years. Today we are grateful and thankful to Allah to having guided this credit union up to this date. 25 years ago it started. It started as a small one, but has grown to one of the best credit unions in the sub-region, not only in the Gambia, but in the sub-region, I can say. Small maybe, as we may be, but we have dedicated people, have made sure that this institution grow to strength, from strength to strength, through the leadership of Mr. Juve and his team. We want to congratulate them and thank them and wish them well. He has challenged us. 25 years ago they were there, but they don't expect to be there 25 years to come to manage the institution again. The institution will fall in the hands of others. And some of them are here at the moment working with him, being prepared for the task. We need to learn all that they can offer so that we can continue to push this institution forward, so that the services they are providing will continue to be added and uplifted, so that there will be more successes and the teachers will benefit more from them. Currently, it's not only the teachers that are benefiting from the services of this credit union. Education staff and other staff from other ministries are also enjoying the services of the credit union. And I think this is a laudable achievement, which should be celebrated and which should be continued. We have Muslims of credit unions all over the country. But I think if they follow the footpath of the Gambia Teachers Union Credit Union, they will all succeed. We at the ministry, we want to assure them that the collaboration, the cooperation that we have with them will continue from strength to strength, because they are viable partners and they support the ministry at all levels. I want to thank them and thank their management and board for the successes that they have registered over the years, and we wish them well. Thank you very much.
We need to proceed with the questions and answer session that may be posed by the media, if you have any. I humbly hand over this session to the media to face the leadership of EDUs if they have any questions for them. Thank you.
There's another mic here, Dara.
And then first and foremost, Mr. Juice and the team, I would like to commend you for this great milestone. 25 isn't 25 days or months. So within your outlet, in the beginning they kept telling me, and then you guys overcome all this. So my question is going to be very short. Earlier in the statement that we are in a digital world, and then you improvise. So would you please let the media know what are some of the things that UCC will want to achieve in years to come?
Very much, Mariam. I hope I understand your question. I'll attempt to explain briefly. When we talk about digitizing or digitalizing our transactions, currently we are serving a membership of about 35,000 people. We are operating from 8 branches. We are paying salaries to 11 to 12,000. The last time I got statistics, it was approaching 12,000 members who are receiving their salaries from us. They may not come and withdraw all their salary at once. Imagine these 12,000 people coming 3 to 4 times in the month. You are multiplying 12 by 4. Now, if you consider that and the foot traffic, in addition to those who will come to update books, those who are applying for loans, those who are coming in to save, those who are coming in to open new accounts, the school account managers, the number of people visiting our premises are very high. Yesterday alone, I was particularly interested in the foot traffic. So we are keeping keeping track of this. Yesterday, I think security can hear me out. Ibukoli, you gave me a figure of 983 visitors yesterday alone in Kanifing. Now this is not sustainable going forward. My idea, the idea of the board captured in our current strategic plan is to increase our membership to 50,000. That means our offices will become even more congested. So going forward, we need to transfer some of those services to our mobile gadgets, our mobile phones. This is not rocket science. It is happening in other parts of the world. Why is it seemingly impossible in the Gambia? Because we have macro infrastructural challenges. I am talking about internet, for example. We've been running WASU for 5 years now. We still cannot transmit live data from WASU to our server here. It's happening in all other areas, but WASU is still not possible. So internet in the country must improve. Almost every week, we get a team coming in to say, we want to provide you mobile money. It's an illusion. In this country, at the moment, it's not realistic. We cannot still have it. We have been able to sit with a couple of them. We asked some questions, and we are still here. So going forward, if your question is how, because as a youth, I expect this to come from you. And we are being told from statistics that about 60% of the teaching force are young. If that is true, these people need fat. You know fat? They want it on the go. They want their loan on the go. They want their salary on the go. They want to save on the go. They do not want to queue. They have no time for queues. Queues are for senior citizens. So if we are to remain relevant as a credit union, we must meet the youth where they play. On their iPhone, on their Samsung phone. Unless we are able to do that, our development is going to be retarded. So if I understand your question, the answer is that is our greatest challenge at the moment. In terms of priority, number one is digitalization. Number two, digitalization. Number three, digitalization of our services. So that you can access us wherever you may be. Somebody comes to me and says, I'm closing my account. Why, my brother? Because you are not texting me if my salary is paid in. I said, did you know that those texting you are charging you for it? And he said, okay, go and ask for a statement. Eventually we will text you, but you will pay for it. Because we are going to be charged by the internet service provider. But they will not be bothered if they are going to have the text message, if they can transfer money, if they can collect their salaries from wherever in a shop, they won't be bothered by the charges. So infrastructural advancement is what is holding our next level. I hope we get there before I leave. Thank you very much. I hope I understood your question.
Question, I have only two questions. One of them is regard to the private school teachers. Some of these teachers, they feel they are left out by the credit union. The credit union working in any way to make sure that these teachers are paid through their union so that they can also benefit on some of the benefits teachers are benefiting in their credit union. The second question regards to the welfare of the teachers. The credit union is doing very good. I can remember when I was working in, I met a brother who told me that the credit union has changed his life. He said he was renting, but because of the credit union, he was able to and now moved to his house. And it's what he's using to pay the loan that he took from the credit union. But at the same time, he's saying that the interest is somehow high. Is the credit union also considering that? Because I know even if it is $0, these figures will still come to this. But is the credit union still helping them to make sure that they get some of these facilities or some of this loan with a small interest?
Nelson. Mane, thank you. A member, of course, a teacher himself. Private schools, I find it difficult to understand if they feel left out. I can remember the first definition of our common bond. In credit unions, you always have a ring fence that you call a common bond. It defines your boundaries. Our first common bond said teachers. It didn't say public school teachers. It said teachers. And we went out to private schools. And I'll give you examples. Schools like Ndaus, schools like Methodist Academy are private schools. In fact, we have a relationship with them that is so unique. But over the years, they are 1/6, which is not paid by private schools proprietors. They have been taken from us. In fact, we have now had a relationship with schools that do not only take 1/6, they take 1/6 twice in the year. So it's January to June. They finish paying in June. 1st of July, they pick the second 1/6. They finish that one in December. We are doing that only for the private schools. So I don't understand if private schools are not invited or included. We do not discriminate. All private schools, in fact, we are the only credit union in this country that has a specialized Islamic credit union component in order to include those who are not comfortable with charging interest. That is only here. That shows you how inclusive we are. So yes, private schools are in here. A study that I saw recently by MOPSI suggests that there are about twice or 3 times more private schools than public schools in the country. I know some of us wouldn't know that. So we may not have reached everybody, but everybody is invited. We know our strength, our survival depends 100% on numbers. Left to us alone, we will recruit everybody in the Gambia. That is what we will prefer. So we are not leaving anyone out. Secondly, the issue of welfare. In credit unions, we do not follow the market price when it comes to charges on loans. And take note of this, Nelson. We do not follow what the Central Bank Monetary Policy Committee declares as interest rate. It is best practice in credit unions to always charge less than the market rate. And we have never charged the market rate, not to talk about compete with the market rate. We started with 1.5 when we were using our unique system. When we started with 1.5 and changed system, the charges became very high. We took the matter to the next AGM and asked our members to do something about it. It was reduced to 1.25% on the reducing balance. At the moment, and this is for the past 7 years, we've been charging 1%. Tell me a financial institution in this country that is charging less than 1%. Just tell me. And for each one that you give me, Nelson, personally, not from the credit union, from my own pocket, I give you $1,000. For every institution that is charging less than 1% that you know, bring me the evidence you have $1,000. We are the cheapest. 1% is the cheapest in the country, has been for the past 7 years. Thank you very much.
Afternoon. My name is Yahya Jal from QTV. I want to ask this question. 2 years ago, the coronavirus pandemic stormed the world. Sectors and various institutions, which I believe includes the GTU, CCU. In as much as your institution is concerned, how did the COVID-19 pandemic, how has it impacted your mode of operation? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The pandemic is far-reaching, and we were not exempt, not immune. It impacted us in many ways. Number one, whatever happens in the larger economy reflects our members. So when we started losing money because some aspects of the economy were shutting down, it affected some of our members who depended or who continue to depend on the existence of a tourist season and so on and so forth. So from that angle, it affected our liquidity because the amount of savings that was coming was impacted. It also affected those who were loaned, were repaying, but their income dropped. Generally, because government continued to pay salaries and allowances unhindered, from the greater chunk of our membership, we were not affected. Life just went on. Where we had challenges was where we had to change our modus operandi. Now, if you come here anytime since March of last year, you go through the WHO protocols. At our level as an institution, we were obliged to find ways to ferry our staff to and back to their homes, to office, back to their homes every day. Those in the regions are not affected, but in Canifing, we had to buy vans, which was not part of our thing. Now we transport our staff in the morning to work. When they close, we transport them back, so that we reduce the mingling with other people, keep them safe, so they can be safe at work. So at our level, I think the impact has not been untouchable. We pray that it doesn't go beyond this, but some of our individual members' income dropped, and that actually had an impact, a slight one, on the amount of money they were able to save. Thank you.
There are members in our midst who were present when the baby was born. They can describe the baby. When the baby was crawling, they were there. When the baby started walking, they were there. When the baby started running, they were there. And when the baby was jumping, they also witnessed it. I want to call on 3 important people who were there when it was started. They will be led by my able auntie, Madam Sana Williams. You have been honored to be part of those who are going to cut the cake. Mr. Idrissa Botang, who will also be joined by Mr. Martin Gomez to come and to cut the cake. Please,
let me just anybody for having me in the credit union slide. Thank Omar Jendur. Omar was the only executive member of GTU present in that meeting, if I recall, nominated me into the committee. He was the one who said for Secretary Babukar. So Omar was there when it was born. So therefore, I'm not part of it. I just wanted you not to leave him out. Martin, Omar, Idi, and Sohna, come to the table, please. Wow, we cannot make mistakes here today.
Take yourself out. On behalf of the staff, we are also inviting you to join the delegation that will cut the cake.
Yes, you have your courage. I agree.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. How old are you now? How old are we now? How old are we now? Happy birthday to you. Hey! Hey!
You know the driver brought me the picture. And behold, the letter was